Alrighty folks, we are live. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to qualifying for the Italian Grand Prix. We are going to have such an exciting qualifying session on our hands today. It's going to be very, very exciting. Thank you everyone for tuning in. We've already got 700 people tuned into the live stream. That is fantastic, folks. If you could hit the like button, that would very much be appreciated. Just boost the live stream before we even get started, and it definitely helps the YouTube algorithm out as well. There is a lot to talk about. Kimi Antonelli has been signed with Mercedes for 2025. Big news down in the paddock that was released probably around 4 or 5 hours ago now. Yeah, and then of course we've had Franco Colapinto. He has had his debut Formula One Grand Prix, and he's been doing so well so far, and we'll wait and see if he can continue that on in qualifying, if he can go on and potentially get close to Alex Albon, maybe even make it through into Q2, maybe even Q3. It's going to be very, very exciting. Hello MCG and OG Ninja and everyone in the chat. Sir Lancelot Communication Device and Marcos Racing. Let's get ready for some qualifying. It is the decision to sign Kimi Antonelli, a very big decision, and potentially a very, very big risk as well that comes with it. But I think Toto Wolff has decided that this is the way forward, and that's what he's going to choose. You know, he's decided that that's what is the best for the team. He's going to take a bit of a risk, a bit of a gamble, and he's going to sign Kimi Antonelli. Now, there is a potential that Antonelli does not perform as well as the Mercedes team will want, and the risk is that Antonelli could potentially lose Mercedes a position in the Constructors' title next year. You know, so if you have two good drivers, for example, like Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri, or like Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz, you're pushing the limit of the car and you're scoring maximum points that weekend. But if you do have one driver that isn't up to par, for example, like at Red Bull, Verstappen and Sergio Perez is lacking in the pace department, they're probably going to lose the Constructors' Championship this year to McLaren, and that is solely down to the fact that Sergio Perez, in the early stages of the season when Red Bull was dominant, Sergio Perez wasn't up there scoring that second place spot every single race weekend, and because of that, Red Bull don't have enough points to hold on to the Constructors' title. So I think next season, if Antonelli comes into Mercedes and cannot deliver, then Mercedes may be losing out one, maybe even two Constructors' spots, compared to where they would have been if they had signed Carlos Sainz or if they had signed Valtteri Bottas instead. So yeah, it's a gamble that they have taken, but maybe it'll pay off, maybe it won't. It's very tough to just to say, really. Hello. Yeah, hello everyone. All right. Why is there a yellow flag? Kevin Magnussen had an hydraulic issue at the end of FP3. That's why there was a yellow. That's why it currently says yellow flag on the screen. But Kevin Magnussen, after the timer had gone to 0 and I'd ended the live stream, what happened was that K-Mag was just doing his in lap into the grid and he had some sort of hydraulic issue. Now, that might be, you know, it's bad timing, but I'd honestly say that's better timing to have it at the end of the FP3 session rather than having it at the start of Q1 and you're totally out of qualifying. So at least the mechanics have had some sort of time to try and rectify the issue. I don't know if it is fixed as of now. We'll only find out in 25 minutes time. All right. Yeah. I mean, they're fourth now with Lewis, so I doubt they'll do worse than that. Yeah, that is also true, but the thing is, I think Mercedes will be obviously trying to maybe be the second fastest car next year, maybe try to be the fastest car. Well, obviously that's what they're trying. Maybe they will even be the fastest car, but if Kimi Antonelli cannot deliver, then they may not get first in the championship. Yeah, but that's for next season. We've still got 8 races left of this season. Oh, in fact, sorry, 9 races left of this season. Very, very exciting second half of the season. So many possibilities of what can happen. If you just look at the standings there, the top 5 within 1.5 tenths of each other. It is so close here at Monza. There are only 11 corners, and quite a lot of them, you know, Curva Grande, not that much of an impact. And they're not really 11 corners, they're kind of just 3 chicanes and 3 corners. So essentially a very small margin of error. Even if you make a slight mistake coming out of one chicane, that could cost you maybe 2, maybe 3 positions. And drivers have to be on their toes. They have to be alert and not making any sort of mistakes, catching slides before they even happen. And yeah, it's going to be a very, very interesting battle. There have been changes to the Monza Grand Prix circuit. The circuit has been resurfaced. That is pretty standard track maintenance, but the thing that has changed is the curbs. The curbs on the circuit, previously they were very high curbs, they were sausage curbs, and the FIA deemed them to be safe enough because the sausage curbs were only around about the circuit where there are slow speed corners. So turn number 1, turn number 2, very slow speed corners, so it's safe to have a sausage curb. However, the regulations have changed a little bit. The FIA have changed their opinion on sausage curbs, and now they've put very flat curbs in at turn number 1, turn number 2, the second chicane, and at Ascari, which means the drivers can now cut the corner a lot more than they previously could. They can take a lot more curb and not lose that much time, not lose control of the car. And it also has removed a little bit of the character from the Monza circuit. There were, quite a few quirks here and there, especially at the second chicane. There was this drain cover on the apex of the corner. If you could get into that drain cover, it would sort of hook you around and give you a little bit extra rotation. There was a thin concrete strip on the exit of the second chicane that would give you a boost and extra lap time if you could plant your car on that thin concrete strip, not to the left where there was gravel, not to the right where there was a curb, but exactly with a concrete strip. All of those things have been removed. The drivers aren't particularly happy about the changes, but nonetheless they are still attacking and looking to score as many points as possible, as they always are, to be honest. Yeah. All right. Let me know what your predictions are, folks. Who do you think is going to get pole position today? I am going to be rooting for Ferrari, not because I'm a Ferrari fan or anything like that, but it is a home race. They've brought massive, massive upgrade packages. They had a great race out in Monaco, and since then their season has kind of gone downhill a little bit. There was a bit of a recovery in Zandvoort. They were able to, their race pace was actually fairly decent, and they could recover from their bad qualifying. But hopefully today in Monza, at their home Grand Prix, it would be spectacular to see them on pole position. Yeah. All right. All right. What else have we got? Anthony Kemp just thought, notice you say bye fellas, bye guys, loads of women also like Formula 1. Perhaps say everyone. Loving your site and chat. Thank you. Well, thanks for the advice. Yeah, I probably should change that actually. Yeah. Let's see. Ferrari at home. Miss Sargent. Yeah, Sargent, of course, he's lost his seat. He might be going to IndyCar, might be going to NASCAR. There are a lot of opportunities for him. He is a quick driver, but it is so brutal in Formula 1. You have trained your entire life going through, workout regimens and this and that and training on the simulator, and you make your way. Finally, you get into Formula 1 and you spend a year and a half there, and then you just get told, sorry, mate, you're not quick enough. See you later. Very, very tough on Logan Sargent. I'm sure he will cope, but it'll be a long few months for him to, sort of acknowledge the fact that Formula 1 isn't the place for him to be. Yeah. Also, the Saubers this weekend, they are an absolute rocket ship in a straight line, I've got to say. Bottas on the straight specifically was so quick. It is fantastic to see him do that. The Sauber really trimmed down their rear wing the most out of any team. Every single team has brought circuit-specific upgrades for the Monza Grand Prix. So not upgrades per se, it's probably circuit-specific changes, and they've brought low downforce changes to the Monza circuit, but Alfa Romeo or Kick Sauber, they have gone the most in that direction. They've gone the lowest downforce out of all of them. So they're a rocket ship in a straight line, but in the corners they do struggle, and that's probably why we're going to see Bottas struggle in today's qualifying session. They're really quick down the straights, but through Ascari, through the chicanes, through Lesmo 1 and 2, they don't have enough speed. Yeah. All right. I'll write if Ferrari isn't good next year. Well, I mean, Ferrari always have the traditional Ferrari. Next year is our year trademark, assigned to their company. We'll wait and see what happens, though. I don't know if Ferrari will be able to be the best, but things are looking on the up for them. Their upgrade package is working. They were suffering from correlation issues earlier on in Barcelona, where the car was bouncing in real life, but in the simulations it wasn't bouncing. So over the past couple of races since Barcelona, they've gathered a lot of data and created new simulations to try and predict the bouncing much better. And then in the simulations for this upgrade package that they've just brought this weekend, it simulated that it wasn't going to bounce. In real life, it's not bouncing. So it's very, very good for Ferrari that their simulations are working properly, which means that they can start developing next year's car and also make sure that next year's car doesn't bounce. All right. Do you think Lando has potential to win the Drivers' Championship? Well, I think Lando as a driver, yes. This current he's going to have quite a few things go his way. He's got to have Max Verstappen potentially DNF, potentially be out of the points for 1 or 2 races before the championship gets very close. Currently, the gap is 70 points between Lando Norris and Max Verstappen. So 2 DNFs and Lando Norris winning the race, that brings 70 points down to 20 points, and then it becomes much more realistic. But yeah, it's very difficult because say if it was just McLaren and Red Bull were the 2 top teams and Ferrari and Mercedes weren't in the picture, then it would be a lot easier for Lando Norris to win the championship because he's only got to beat Verstappen. But in this current scenario, Lando Norris has got to beat Verstappen. He's got to beat his teammate. He's got to beat both of the Ferraris, both of the Mercedes on the weekends that they're competitive. So winning the championship and taking the points away from Verstappen is fine. Verstappen is losing points on everyone in the championship, but he has to lose points specifically to Norris for him to win. Yeah. F1 Gamer, who do you think will win the race tomorrow? I think the driver that gets on pole actually has a fairly decent chance to win, but I don't know. Actually, the last, I think, 3 races, the driver from pole position in Monza hasn't won, but before that, quite a few races at Monza have been won by the pole sitter. So who knows? All right, I'm going to have a quick sip of water, folks. We've got 2,000 people tuned into the live stream now. Wow, that is fantastic. If you are enjoying the coverage, be sure to hit the like button. Definitely does help out the channel. And if you are not subscribed, then be sure to do that as well. Hopefully we can get to 93,000 subscribers today. Get just one step closer to 100k. That would be spectacular. All right. Let's see. Also, Yuki Tsunoda has got upgrades this weekend. Daniel Ricciardo has not been given those upgrades, mainly because they just haven't been able to manufacture them, and they're testing them out on Tsunoda's car. They were having a little bit of issues yesterday with Tsunoda. The balance of the car just wasn't right. They had to play around with the setup quite a bit. They seem to have sorted out the issues today, and Tsunoda and Ricciardo are on par with each other. I don't know how significant the upgrade package is, but there are just a few small tweaks to Yuki Tsunoda's car that Daniel Ricciardo does not have. Okay, news on K-Mag's car. In fact, I shall check the news on K-Mag's car right now. Thank you for reminding me. Yeah, we're now only 16 minutes away from the start of qualifying. All right, Mark Mortimer enjoying the channel and unsubscribe. Thank you very, very much. And also, folks, if you do want to type in the chat and it's not letting you, if you hit the subscribe button, after 1 minute, it allows you to type in the chat. It's just to prevent people from spamming that aren't subscribed. All right, what happened to K-Mag? At the end of FP3, he had hydraulic issues coming down the straight after Lesmo 2, and yeah, he stopped on the side of the circuit, so that's why there's a yellow flag on the screen, and that's why Kevin Magnussen is, it says stop on his part of the track map rather than in the pits. This is qualifying, indeed it is. The race is tomorrow. Okie dokes. We'll have the team radio messages coming through on the right hand side of the screen once we get closer to qualifying, and yeah, who will replace K-Mag? K-Mag is no longer driving for Haas next year. It will be Esteban Ocon and Oliver Behrman are the 2 new Haas drivers. K-Mag and Hülkenberg both leaving at the end of next year. K-Mag potentially without a seat in Formula 1, or he may retire. He may go to IndyCar, may go to WEC. But yeah, Nico Hülkenberg has been signed for Kick Sauber, or the Audi team as they will be known from next year and onwards. Okay, if we look at the simulation pace for qualifying, it looks like... All right, so... what was I going to say? Oh yeah, the quali simulation pace. I've just got that up on my screen now, and we have got Lando Norris, and sorry, not Lando Norris, the McLarens. They are the quickest in the quali simulation pace, and the second quickest is the Red Bulls, third quickest Ferraris, and fourth quickest is Mercedes. They're all within 2/10 of each other, so it's going to be very, very tight at the top of the pack. In the race pace, everyone's within 1/10 of each other, so it's even closer now. And yeah, it is going to be very exciting, today's qualifying session. Also, there's a lot to talk about in terms of the strategy of getting a tow. The tow nets you a massive margin at the Monza circuit. DRS isn't all that effective because the rear wing flap is quite small, but the tow is mega effective, and the drivers will be doing their absolute best to get the tows. We'll also keep in mind that maybe the teams will organise tows. Normally what we see at other circuits, what we've seen in the past, is that, say, one driver, for example, Hamilton, he'll give Russell a tow on the first run of Q2, and then on the second run of Q2, Russell will give Hamilton a tow. That's the way that these things sort of work. That's the way that they used to do them, at least. But at the Monza circuit, it's a little bit of a tricky circuit, and we've seen the teams play games here before. You know, they all sit in the pit lane up until like 10 seconds before the start of quali. 10 seconds before the end of quali, not 10, probably a minute and 30 seconds before the end of quali, and they don't have enough time to get around the circuit in time to start a lap. So we've seen things like that happen, but yeah, it's quite interesting, isn't it? So we'll see if those games are played. Once again, the FIA have made some changes to the regulations. You have to have a minimum lap time. You can't just wander around and go very, very slowly to trick other people into giving you a tow, and yeah, so we'll see. Also, Franco Colapinto, someone to watch out for today. His first qualifying session in Formula 1. He'll be looking to match Alex Albon in FP3. He was 3/10 behind his teammate. Given that it is his first Formula 1 drive, I expect that to be, I expect that's fine. I don't think James Vowles will be too displeased with that. And as long as he doesn't crash the car like Logan Sargent, then he should be good to go. Yeah. All right, thank you everyone for tuning in. By the way, we're 12 minutes away from the start of qualifying. Sergio Perez, he's got a lot of ground to make up. He wasn't all that quick in practice, and the car is still a little bit twitchy. We saw yesterday Verstappen and Perez both locking up and going straight on at turn number 1 and turn number 2. Today, I think we only saw Perez make that mistake, but nonetheless, the Red Bull is not the most stable car in the world. They're still trying to diagnose issues. They're using different upgrade packages on Verstappen's car and Perez's car in an effort to try and figure out where is the issue coming from, what can we do to resolve it, and yeah. So we'll see what they can do, but it's not ideal. All right, let's see. Have we got the... Oh no, we haven't got the data for qualifying just coming through yet. It should be coming through any minute now. What happened to K-Mag? A hydraulic issue. Albon will be racing with 3 teammates in the span of 11 races. Indeed, he will. Yeah, I mean, I think Albon's up to the challenge. You know, of course, Logan Sargent, he was quicker than him quite comfortably, so he should be fine there. Franco Colapinto, he's a rookie, so Albon should be fine to beat him. But then Carlos Sainz, that'll be the big challenge for next year. Will he be able to match Carlos Sainz? Will he be quicker than him? And it'll be someone to compare him to in a good benchmark, because we know Carlos Sainz is very quick, on par with Charles Leclerc. The Red Bull can't take the curbs here, which is crucial. Fast time here, attacking the curbs on the chicanes. Indeed it is. I'm sure Red Bull are particularly displeased about the changes to the curbs, because previously they were sausage curbs and you couldn't really attack them, and yeah, you couldn't attack the curbs, so it was fine. But this weekend you must attack the curbs if you want to gain some time, and it does not look like the Red Bull car is capable of doing that. All right. Also, let's see. Alpines, they may be struggling a little bit this weekend. We do know that the Alpines are 15 horsepower down compared to everyone else on the paddock. They are, of course, using their own custom Renault/Alpine engine, and yeah, they have been suffering the consequences there. Their car isn't all that quick in terms of development and engine power, so yeah, at the temple of speed, where straight line speed is king, Alpine are going to be on the back foot. We may even see a couple of them get eliminated in Q1. Oops, you got an advert. Thank you for letting me know. I've just turned them off. I've turned off adverts. All right. Good day, folks. Looking like it's going to be a good quali. Indeed it is. Track temperature is exceedingly warm. We're going to have only one lap that you can do on a set of soft tyres. They do wear out very, very quickly around here. That being said, Charles Leclerc in FP3, he did, I think, 12 laps or so on a set of soft tyres and still was improving each time. Now, that also is in part due to the fact that he was probably using fuel up and the fuel was burning off the car and hence making it lighter. Yeah. All right. Weather report, nice and sunny in Monza. No chance of rain whatsoever. Yeah. Okie dokes, 3,000 people tuned into the live stream. That is fantastic. Oh yeah, track temperature is very, very toasty, up in the 50 degree range, and yeah. Not long now though before we get the drivers out onto the circuit for the first runs of Q1. Is Kimi in the paddock? Well, there was Kimi Raikkonen was in the paddock at the Sauber team. It would be a great thing to see Kimi Raikkonen back at the Sauber team or at the Audi team next year, but I don't think that will be happening. Kimi Antonelli is in the paddock. Formula 2 is taking part at this Grand Prix weekend, and so is Formula 3. Yeah, so Formula 2 and Formula 3 drivers are also here as well. Kimi and Binotto are at the Audi team. Yeah, Binotto is, of course, I think he's team principal or technical lead at the Audi team next year. And then Kimi Raikkonen's just there, I guess, for company, being at the Monza Grand Prix. Why not? I'm sure the Ferrari fans love him anyway. With the temperature, what's the potential pit strategy for the race? Pirelli haven't released the pit strategy, the quickest pit strategy, but I do think it may be a two-stopper. I think Toto Wolff was talking about it after the FP1 session. He was saying we were noticing very high tyre degradation, and very high tyre degradation is a symptom of, when you have very high tyre deg, you have a two-stop race, so can't complain really, cannot complain. Also, I'd like to say the track changes. The circuit is wider at turn number 1. So at the race, it's going to be a lot more important tomorrow, but you can go 3 wide into turn number 1 now. That's how much wider they've made it. Previously 2 wide, but now it is... but now you can go 3 wide. All right. So what else have we got to talk about this weekend? Ooh, yeah, it's gonna be an exciting weekend. The Williams has had a history of being very slippery in a straight line, so we'll see if the Williams can pull out an amazing performance. I think Alex Albon potentially could make it through into Q3, but the tow is going to be critical. And also in Q1, when all 20 drivers are out on the circuit, it's going to be very tricky. This Monza circuit is quite narrow, only around about 2 wide for most of the circuit. So yeah, with it being only 2 wide, the drivers are going to have to be keeping their eyes on their mirrors, making sure that they get out the way in time. Otherwise, we could have a couple of incidents happening like we saw in FP3. Charles Leclerc was trying to overtake Ricciardo and Piastri. Both of them got confused on which side Leclerc was going to go. And yeah, Leclerc got run off the road onto the grass a little bit. So yeah, we'll keep an eye out and see if anything like that happens. Be sure to hit the like button, folks. Hopefully we can hit 1,000 likes before the start of quali. That'd be fantastic. But we are getting very, very close to the start of quali then. All right. Who do you think will join Sauber in 2025? I'm going to say that it will be, what's it called? Oh, Valtteri Bottas. Yeah, Valtteri Bottas is prime candidate to join Sauber. There have been rumours that maybe it'll be Mick Schumacher, maybe Liam Lawson, but I'm going to go firmly with Valtteri Bottas. Solid driver. He's been at the team, very quick. And honestly, a driver lineup, Valtteri Bottas and Nico Hülkenberg, you cannot go wrong there. Both superbly quick, both superbly consistent. They're not the kind of drivers that are going to take obscene risks or do stupid things. And yeah, I think Valtteri Bottas and Nico Hülkenberg, solid driver pairing, and Audi should be thinking to pick them. I've also heard of rumours of Vettel going to Audi. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing, because the first driver that Audi signed was a German driver. Now there have been links with every German driver. Vettel, German, of course. There'll be links like, oh, maybe Vettel's going to go to Audi, or maybe Mick's going to go to Audi. But you do also have to think a little bit logistically. It'll be great for them to have an all German driver lineup, but also it would be also helpful to have, one driver at least that has been part of the team, knows how the team works, the way that they do things. It would be helpful to do that, especially with Audi coming into the team. They'll be bringing a lot of money, a lot of engineers who are new to Formula One, and yeah, they probably would want a driver that's had a bit of experience in the team already. Okay, I'm back, says Kate. Nice to see that. Is Mick not getting the seat when there's Bottas at... Yeah, I don't think so. I like Vettel, but it'd be a bad choice for Audi to have him both and Hülkenberg. Yeah, I don't think Vettel will be rejoining Formula One in the same way that, it'd be awesome if Kimi Räikkönen joined. Yes, it would be, but their priorities are totally different now. They've reached a different stage of life, and they have firmly hung up their racing boots. Maybe we'll see the odd race from Kimi doing some rallying and Vettel doing some endurance racing, but I think the Formula One days are over for those drivers, and they have moved on with their life. All right, let's see. Have we got the qualifying data coming through? I'm sure we have, actually. Let's just get rid of the FP3 data, and Q1. There we go. Italian GP Q1, 18-minute session, then 15-minute session, and then a 12-minute session as normal. Look at that track temperature, 50.1 degrees, air temperature 33 degrees. It is as hot as it was in FP1 yesterday. Here we go then, 3 minutes till we get underway. We've got 4,000 people tuned into the live stream. Thank you everyone for tuning in, very much is appreciated. Hope you are enjoying the coverage, and let's dive right into this qualifying session then. Here we are at round number 16 of 24 in this Formula One season. We are at the Temple of Speed at Monza, the 75th race in history that has been held at the Monza Grand Prix circuit, and I must say, what a circuit. The drivers spend 75% of the lap at full throttle here. We've got 2 DRS zones. The drivers approach speeds of 360 kilometers an hour if they have a DRS, a slipstream, going down the main straight. The circuit is 5.7 kilometers long, and we have got 11 corners here, 3 chicanes, 2 right and 3 right-hand corners. The front left tyre takes a very big beating around this circuit, and we'll be cautious about that in tomorrow's race. The tyres that we have for this weekend, the C5, the C4, the C3 for the soft, medium and hard respectively. The main tyre that the drivers will be using today, of course, the soft tyres for the 1 lap pace that you can extract from them. And here we go then. 1 minute now till the drivers make their way out of the pit lane, and we have some qualifying. I'm going to have a very quick sip of water, and I shall be back in about 20 seconds. All right. So, in today's Grand Prix, we're going to have a very close battle. In today's qualifying, we're going to have a very close battle between the 2 Mercedes drivers, the 2 Ferrari drivers, the 2 McLaren drivers, and Max Verstappen. I hate to exclude Sergio Perez. I like the guy. He is a great driver, but in that Red Bull team, he is not that well suited. Who do you think will get pole? Unfortunately, it is far too close to call. The gaps between drivers, the gaps between the top 5 is 1.5 tenths in FP3, and once the drivers come out of the pit lane in Q1, I suspect that gap is going to stay firmly below that. I'll probably answer that question after the end of Q1, maybe after the end of Q2. But yeah, if you guys have any forecasts, then that'd be great if you could let me know in the chat. I think the Ferraris, they are going to be prime candidates this weekend. They have brought massive upgrades today. It has been called, the upgrades have been called the Monza Special. That's what it's been dubbed by other people. And they have really thrown everything at this. It is, of course, their home Grand Prix, and it would be fantastic to see them on pole, potentially even a 1-2. The Tifosi are here in full force in the grandstands. They are cheering on the Ferrari team, and let's wait and see what will happen. All right, the gap between McLaren and Red Bull in the Constructors' Championship is 30 points, not all that big now, and there is a solid chance that McLaren are going to beat Red Bull in the Constructors. The green light is lit at the end of the pit lane. The time has started ticking down, and the drivers will be exiting the pit lane very, very shortly. The pit lane exit is open, but everyone is sat in the garage. Oh, no, no, no. What are we doing again here? Yeah, all right. Lifesaver, I'm at the track as a steward listening to your commentary. Oh, wow. As a steward or as a marshal? Because if you're a steward, I don't recommend listening to my commentary. Yeah. But there we go. Guan Yu Zhou, first driver out onto the circuit. Let me get rid of this timer. We've got the team radios coming through as well. All right, track is clear. Very, very nice. All right. Also, as an addition for this weekend, I've added the top speed, the speed trap speeds for all of the drivers when they're on their flying laps, so you can see who's going the quickest through the speed traps, who's got a tow, who hasn't, and that's going to be very critical to finding out who's going to be on top, who's setting a good lap, who is not. Yeah. All right, then, here we go. Everyone making their way out now. The Ferraris make their way out. A massive cheer from the Tifosi as you see them emerge from the pit lane. All right, this is it then. So Zhou will be leading the pack. I think Ocon's keeping Zhou right on, right in front of him to make sure that he can get a nice tow off him. Zhou will be unfortunately not get a tow off anyone by the looks of it. K-Mag and Hulkenberg, they'll be closing the gap up to the Alpines as well, trying to get a tow as soon as possible. And let the games begin, All right, so yeah, look at that. They're looking for around about a 4-second gap. They've come over the radio saying nobody's leaving the pit lane. They were hoping that someone would leave the pit lane in front of Guan Yu Zhou so Zhou could get a tow, but unfortunately that hasn't played out that way. And 7 drivers have left the pits. Nobody else is leaving. All right then, here we go. Carlos Sainz is on a flying lap. Let's stay on board with Carlos Sainz then. Here we go. Coming down the main straight, look at those top speeds, 351 kilometers an hour for Nico Hulkenberg. Sainz is 349, and what is Charles Leclerc? Charles Leclerc, 350 kilometers an hour. All of the drivers at that 350 kilometer per hour range. They've got the toe nailed down, absolutely perfect. And we've got Sergio Perez emerging from the pit lane. But let's follow on with Carlos Sainz. He heads towards the second chicane, hits the brakes, purple through the first sector. Nicely done. And all over the curbs and does not lose any time whatsoever. The car as planted as it has been all weekend long. Goes through Lesmo 1. Ooh, Gasly says I've got smoke coming out of the front brakes. We see this quite often at Monza. They run tiny, tiny brake ducts. Ooh, there's a mistake there from Carlos Sainz. And has he backed out of the lap? Yes, he has, I think. I'm not sure, but he made a mistake coming out of Lesmo 2, went all over the gravel. It looks like he's continuing on with his lap, or maybe he's trying to give Charles Leclerc a tow. All right. But yeah, we see this quite often at Monza. They run tiny brake ducts, and the cars and the brakes start to overheat quite a bit. All right, here comes then Carlos Sainz, comes towards the line. What time is it going to be for him? It is a 1:23.5. Yeah, a slow lap time there. He's backed out of it, and he's just given enough time to give Charles Leclerc a tow. And look at that, purple third sector for Charles Leclerc, 3/10 quicker than Nico Hülkenberg, and Leclerc 7/10 ahead of the competition. All right, the Ferrari's driving in formation, but we've got a replay here of Carlos Sainz going through Lesmo 2, turns into the corner and then just carries a little bit too much speed, misjudging the exit of the curb, how wide the curb is. And then he said, I had a moment. He had a massive snap of the car. He saved it very nicely though, and managed to give his teammate a tow as well. All right, now let's shift our focus to the Red Bulls. We've got Sergio Perez starting a flying lap. We've got Max Verstappen starting a flying lap as well. Let's wait and see what will happen. We've got 8,000 people tuning into live stream. Folks, thank you so much for tuning in. Very much is appreciated. If you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. We're getting pretty close to 1,000 likes. All right, let's follow on with Sergio Perez and Max Verstappen. What can they do? Verstappen exits the first chicane, gets a pretty good exit out there, nose twitching of the rear, and the car looking pretty good as he goes through Curva Grande on the inside line, minimizing the distance. And Carlos Sainz over the radio saying, check the floor of the car. And Verstappen hits the brakes nicely for the second chicane, no locking up to be seen, and it's only a green sector for him. He's slower than Carlos Sainz through the first sector. Lando Norris, he's on par with Leclerc in the first sector. Nicely done. Esteban Ocon gets called into the weighbridge by the FIA just to check his car is not underweight. These random checks do keep occurring, and Esteban Ocon will lose around 1 or 2 minutes from his qualifying session. Verstappen makes his way through Ascari, totally flat through the second and third part of the chicane. Nicely done, and that's all due to the curbs. The curbs have been changed so you can drive over them, and the Verstappen taking the straightest line possible. He goes through the parabolica corner. Sergio Perez was up in 4th position. Max Verstappen comes across the line now. What can he do? He didn't have any sort of tow, but it's 2nd place for Max Verstappen, and he's a 10th and a half behind Charles Leclerc. He goes purple in the 3rd sector, even without a tow. So huge props to Max Verstappen. He's done a great job there in the final sector, and especially in parabolica corner, really nailed the car. The car is very sensitive, and Verstappen doing some very good job there. Lando Norris up into 1st position. He goes a 10th and a half ahead of Charles Leclerc. I totally missed that. But a great job there from Lando, and the McLarens are looking very racy. Ooh, one of the McLarens had a mistake. That was Piastri going into turn number 1, hits the brakes and locks up. Smoke coming out of the brakes. The brakes look like they're a little bit too hot, and no braking performance was given to Oscar Piastri from those brakes. McLaren running tiny brake ducts, and the issues are mounting. Piastri does have enough time to get back into the pits and set another lap time, but we saw this with Gasly. Smoke coming out of his brakes. Piastri had smoke coming out of his brakes. Not enough braking performance, and you go straight on at the chicane. 10 minutes left of the session, and we've got the Mercs, the Astons, and Valtteri Bottas yet to set a lap. All right, they are all on their outlap, in fact. Stroll, the front of the queue, and then we've got Alonso, and then we've got Bottas. All right. Pierre Gasly still talking over the radio about smoking brakes. This is not looking good for the Alpine team. And they won't be able to change the brake ducts all that quickly. So Pierre Gasly is going to have to stick with it. And considering Parc Fermé regulations, he is going to have to stick with the smoking brakes all throughout the rest of the weekend now. The slightly wrong choice, I guess, may have been made by the Alpine team. They are down on horsepower, and I think they've compromised on their braking performance, but let's wait and see now. All right, the 2 Astons are on a flying lap. They were very quick in a straight line at the Belgian Grand Prix. We'll see if that correlates to the Monza Grand Prix. Piastri is on a flying lap. He comes across the line now. It is 4th place for Piastri, half a second behind his teammate, but you do have to take into account Piastri didn't have a tow. He was on used tyres after he made a mistake on his first lap, and that is why he is a little bit behind Lando Norris. All right, the Mercs are on their flying laps. Hamilton gets a toe off Gasly. Okay, nicely done. The Mercedes team have planned their toes out, and they are, they're very good at this, and they manage to get a toe every single time. George Russell, as he exits Lesmo 2, who's that ahead of him? It's Carlos Sainz. He's giving him a toe. The Mercedes crew are always good at this kind of stuff. All right, here comes Stroll, here comes Alonso. Bottas quickest in a straight line out of everyone, 352 kilometers an hour. Stroll across the line, 8th place. Alonso across the line, 5th place. Bottas fastest in a straight line, but it's only 13th place for him. The corners still do matter at the circuit, and Valtteri Bottas is struggling, even with the quickest top speed out of everyone. George Russell, the first of the Mercedes driver to come across the line. Where's he going to go? 4th place for George Russell. Nicely done. Look at that top 4. 4 different teams in the top 4. Where's Lewis Hamilton going to put himself? He comes across the line. 5th place for Lewis Hamilton. He's a 10th behind his teammate. Nicely done. So everyone has set their laps. Carlos Sainz has got a lap time. Carlos Sainz hasn't set a lap time, in fact. Did he make a second mistake? I'm not sure how he's still not yet set a representative lap time. We'll see. Maybe he's getting a toe off Russell right now. But yeah, I think Carlos Sainz might be on a flying lap now. But everyone has set a lap time. Carlos Sainz yet to set a representative lap time. But Zhou, the slowest of them all. The Alpines at the back as well. We expected this. They're down on horsepower. Sergio Perez in 16th position. That is not good. He has got to get a lot closer to his teammate. The gap between Perez and his teammate, 0.7 of a second. He's got to pick that gap. He's got to reduce that gap significantly. All right. Oh, look at that. Carlos Sainz, purple in the first sector, green in the second sector. He's going to have no one ahead of him to give him a toe, but nonetheless, he's going to get a good exit through Parabolica, and he should put himself up in towards the top 6. But look at that. It is so close up at the top. Well, actually, it's not all that close up at the top, but there's just a lot of different drivers up at the top of the field. So let's see where Carlos Sainz puts himself. He comes across the line. Now he's currently in 20th, up into 3rd. Ferrari 2-3 at Monza. You'll love to see it. But Lando Norris still holding himself above the rest, and he's a 10th and a half up. Pierre Gasly across the line, 9th place for him. Esteban Ocon, 10th place for him. Nicely done. They've organised a tow there, and that's worked out nicely for them. All right, Pierre Gasly in 9th, Ocon in 10th, and that is everyone completing their lap times. Perez was slow in FP3 as well. Yeah, Perez has been struggling. We've got 6 minutes left of this qualifying session. So all the drivers will be making their way back into the garage, refueling and going out on a fresh set. Alex Albon in 12th position. We haven't talked about Colapinto for a while, but he's set a great lap, 16th position for him. And he is... what's that? Only 2/10 behind Alex Albon. That is very well done from Franco Colapinto. Only 2/10 behind his teammate, and it is his first Formula One qualifying session. A brilliant job. Oh wow, we have hit the like target. I guess we can knock the like target up to 1,500 then. Sure. Thank you everyone for hitting the like button. Thank you everyone for subscribing as well. We're getting pretty close to 93,000. That would give us a nice step towards 100k, which hopefully we can hit maybe next weekend, maybe this weekend. Yeah, let's wait and see. Checo is getting destroyed by an F1 rookie. Indeed he is. I mean, look at that. We know we had that meme. I think it was Logan Sargent out-qualifying Sergio Perez, I think 7 times or something in 12 races. And here comes Franco Colapinto. One of one. He's in 16th position. Sergio Perez in 19th. What has gone wrong here? I cannot tell. Yeah, wow. Not great, really. Not great for Sergio Perez. It's unfortunate, but what can you do? What can you do for Sergio Perez? He finds the car undrivable, and most likely it is undrivable for the average driver. But Max Verstappen somehow managed to keep the car on the road. A little bit mind blowing, to be honest. Okie dokes. Thank you everyone for hitting the like button, by the way. Very much is appreciated. We've got Perez out onto the circuit now. Albon is starting a flying lap. Indeed he is. The Williams do send them out at a little bit of a different time. So yeah, Albon starting his flying lap. This will probably be his final flying lap of the qualifying session. He's going to have the worst track conditions out of everyone. There is still a little bit of track evolution at play at this circuit. Not that much though, because we have had Formula 1, Formula 2 and Formula 3 running for 2 days already now up until this point. And Albon's timed that nicely. I think he's going to get a tow from Perez as he exits the second Lesmo corner, which should be nice. But Albon green in the first sector and even one purple mini sector, so nicely done there. Franco Colapinto leaves the pit lane. K-Mag and Hulkenberg follow them out, and it seems like we're going to get a couple more drivers following them out. Yeah, there we go. Zhou's out. I think Bottas will be making his way out as well. All right, following Albon through the Ascari chicane, lifts for the first one, flat out in the second and the third one, all over the curves, but stays inside of the white line, slower than his personal best in the middle sector. But let's wait and see what he can do now. Towards Parabolica, he goes 320 kilometers per hour before he taps on the brakes, flicks the car to the right, back onto the throttle, and straightens the car up as he comes across the line. What's the time going to be for Alex Albon? From 12th, he goes up into 8th position. Nicely done there for Alex Albon, and that is the last lap he's going to get in this qualifying session. He's not going to have enough time to make it back to the pits and do another lap. He may have enough fuel to do another lap, but look at that, there is a very big queue at the end of the pit lane and a lot of drivers are making their way out now. Alright, 2 minutes and 45 seconds remain of this quali session, and Franco Colapinto is leading the queue, and there is a big old tow train, slipstream train. Ooh, they've just released one of the McLarens out into Max Verstappen's path, and that might be a penalty coming McLaren's way. I don't think it'll be a grid penalty. I just think it'll be a fine. I'm not sure exactly how these things work because it wasn't exactly the driver's fault. The team just told him to go, and they released him right into his path. So, all right, we'll see. But 2 minutes left of this session. Franco Colapinto starts his flying lap. He's going to get a tow off Gasly and Ocon up ahead of him. And nicely done then. Here we go. All right, all 20 drivers, actually no, only 17 drivers out onto this track. The 2 Ferraris and Lando Norris know that they're not going to get eliminated, so they stay in the pits. Here we go then, 11,000 people tuned into live stream. That is fantastic, folks. If you are enjoying the coverage, be sure to hit the like button. Sergio Perez crossed the line, only 9th position for him. That is potentially at risk of being eliminated here. Colapinto improves on his, slower in the first sector, but he is still quicker than Stroll. So let's wait and see what he can do. All right then. Colapinto once again gets a tow off. Ooh, Colapinto massively wide, kicks up so much gravel, and he continues on his hot lap, but that is the floor maybe a little bit damaged there, and it's not all that well. And honestly, the driver behind him, K-Mag, so much commitment just to go full throttle through all of that dust that he kicked up from the gravel trap. Fantastic job there from K-Mag. Hopefully his lap is not compromised. They did not put out the yellow flag because it was, of course, only like 3 seconds he was in the gravel trap. But oh no, someone's gone slowly. Someone's messed up their braking, and there's a yellow flag that's going to be waved at Parabolica, and yeah, K-Mag is off. Hulkenberg comes across the line, and it's 13th place for him, but there's a yellow flag, and that's been cleared up. Okay, K-Mag, get back onto the circuit. Right, we've had quite a few laps come through then. Let's have a look. But all of those laps were compromised. All of the laps were compromised. The yellow flag, you do have to back off from your lap. And a unfortunate sequence of events. And the drivers that are currently in the elimination zone may still get eliminated. Tsunoda across the line, 15th place for him. But Daniel Ricciardo is on a hot lap. He comes across the line. Where does Daniel Ricciardo go? Ricciardo goes 15th, replaces his teammate, and Tsunoda is out in Q1. Sergio Perez back into the pit. Stroll is eliminated from this quali session. So is Colapinto. So is Guan Yu Zhou, and Valtteri Bottas is the only driver that could still make it out of Q1. Verstappen purple in the middle sector, but then he backs out of his lap on purpose to not reveal his pace. Oh, Max Verstappen, you sly fox. Look at that, yeah. His final sector, he's 3 seconds slower. Just before he came across the line, he slammed on the brakes, and yeah, he's hiding his pace. Maybe Max Verstappen is sandbagging a little bit. All right then. So that is the end of the Q1 session. I think Bottas has still got a lap that he's on. Bottas has finished his lap as well. The drivers eliminated are Yuki Tsunoda, Lance Stroll, Franco Colapinto, Valtteri Bottas, and Guan Yu Zhou. An unfortunate sequence of events there. Colapinto went off in turn number 7, the second Lesmo corner, and then Kevin Magnussen, the driver behind him, went off at the Parabolica, causing a yellow flag, and no one else was able to improve. Thankfully, though, K-Mag managed to make it through. Only 14th place, but still high enough to make it through into Q2. Max is definitely holding his cards close to his chest. Yeah, we saw this. I think someone said that at the end of FP3, Verstappen was on a quick lap and then he backed out of it as well. Interesting. Who knows what will happen with Max Verstappen. All right, I'm going to have a quick sip of water, folks. We've had our first qualifying session. The next quali session, Q2, will be beginning in 4 minutes' times. Yeah. Okie dokes. Also, one other thing. I was going to say, I am sponsored by F1 TV, like the official F1 TV guys, which is pretty awesome. So, I just have to say this because I'm sponsored by them. If you guys are interested in getting F1 TV like you, so you can watch all of the footage, get access to all of this data, get access to all of the onboards, and then professional commentary and all of those other things, then the link is in the description. It's called F1 TV Pro. Go ahead and check that out. I get a nice commission off that as well. It helps out the channel, and then of course you get F1 TV Pro to boot. So if you're interested, then go ahead and check it out. But back to the quali session. Ooh, the start of Q2 will be delayed. Okay, so normally Q2 resumes in 4 minutes' time, but it has been delayed, and the reason for the delay is that they have to sweep up all of the gravel that has been kicked up by Colapinto. On the exit of turn number 7, Colapinto brought quite a bit of gravel with him back onto the circuit. I think K-Mag might have brought some gravel back onto the circuit as well at the Parabolica, so they've delayed the start of Q2, and they're just going to be sweeping the gravel off the track, and then we should have the start of Q2 at a normal, as normal. All right, we've hit our like target once again. That is spectacular. I guess it's time to just put that up to 2,000 likes. Thank you, everyone, for hitting the like button. Very much is appreciated. Yeah, hope you are enjoying the coverage. How many minutes to Q2? No information. It's just been delayed. It won't be long. They've just got to sweep up some gravel. Nothing major whatsoever. Okay. What else have we got to talk about? Well, actually, the Alpines have actually made it through, which is a big surprise. Considering they're 15 horsepower down, you would think at the Temple of Speed, they are, they're slow, but they've managed to make it through into Q2, which is a very good job on them. And we'll see if they can get Q3. It might be a bit of a tall order considering all the Mercedes, the Ferraris, the McLarens are looking very racy. So that's already 6 spots gone out of Q3. Then there's, of course, Verstappen. So there's 7 spots gone. So there's only 3 spots remaining. Maybe one of them will be Albon. Maybe one of them will be Perez. Maybe one of them will be Alonso. Or someone else. Only time will tell. Okay, Logan Sargent did get fired, that is correct. That's why we have Franco Colapinto driving the Williams car. Alright. What else have we got? 11,000 people watching, that is fantastic. Okie dokes. The wind is very, very slow speed today, only 1.8 kilometers an hour. The driver's not affected by it much, but the track temperature, look at that, folks, 48 degrees. The tires are really, really going to feel the pain today. And the same weather is forecast for tomorrow. So, yeah. All right. The Haas car seems to be fine. They've put it up on the jacks and they'll have the wheels on soon enough. But yeah, Kevin Magnussen had an issue at the start of, at the end of his quali lap at the Parabolica corner. Yeah. All right. Yuki Tsunoda gets eliminated. He does have, I think, a couple more upgrades than Daniel Ricciardo. That being said, we don't know if the upgrades actually work. So maybe the upgrades are making the car slower. And Tsunoda's ending up slower than Ricciardo. We don't know. But yeah, they're trying out some new upgrades on the car. Currently, they are sweeping up the circuit, so Q2 should be resuming very, very soon now. There are about 15 marshals on the track, pushing all of the gravel to the side of the circuit. So not long till we get some racing. Or qualifying, to be more accurate. All right, let me know who you think is going to get pole position. Will it be Lando Norris? He's just got such a big margin over everyone else. Piastri is there in third position. He managed to take that away from Carlos Sainz later in the session. The two Ferraris are looking very racy. The Mercs not so much on the pace this weekend. They've been struggling a little bit. And then, of course, we have got Max Verstappen, who's hiding his cards very close to his chest. Maybe he's got pace. Maybe he's just bluffing. We don't know. 50-degree track temp is not even close to what we've seen in Formula 1. How about 61 in Malaysia, 60 in Hungary? I don't think we've had 60 in Hungary. Probably 61 in Malaysia is probably something that happened, but not with these Pirelli tyres. They were, of course, when we raced in Malaysia, it was the older Pirelli tyres, and these ones, they're not so, they're not so capable in these high temperature situations. So, yeah. All right. Lando's the man. Was Lando the only one on fresh softs? Yeah, actually that explains it. Lando Norris, he did his lap on a fresh set of soft tyres. Leclerc did his on a used set. And so did Piastri and so did Sainz. And that explains the pace difference. So everyone actually is quite close together. Lando Norris hasn't got some magical edge over everyone else. It's just that he was using a fresh set of softs and everyone else was using used tyres. I don't know why they're using fresh softs in Q1. There's not really a need. Or maybe Lando Norris didn't go out to do a second lap. I'm not 100% sure. Q2 will be resuming in 2 minutes' time, folks. We've just got the message from Race Control. It's resuming in 2 minutes' time. Yeah, not long. Okie dokes. Who do you think will get eliminated in Q2? I think the Alpines will be heading out. Yeah, I think the Alpines will be heading out. Maybe one Haas car makes it through. I can't really tell. Lando only did one run, so I think he's fine. All right. Well, I guess that explains it. I think the other drivers may have improved on the second run. I'm not particularly sure, but yeah, Lando Norris did have a very good first lap. Maybe the other drivers needed a bit of time to build up to maximum pace. Okay, there we go. The data has reset, and Q2 will be getting underway in 2 minutes time. 2 minutes time, 1 minute 30 seconds. All right. They're getting the tyres on at the Pirelli garage. Okie dokes. Getting pretty close to 2,000 likes, folks, and we're getting pretty close to 93,000 subscribers as well. If you aren't subscribed, I commentate all of the qualifying sessions, all of the race sessions, and yeah, I've been doing that for the past couple of years now, and I'll be doing it till the end of the season for sure. Probably next year as well. So if you guys are enjoying, then be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on future live streams. When is Q2 starting? 1 minute, folks. 1 minute. That is the message from Race Control. All right. Yeah. So we'll have another set of, little games here and there on who's going to be the fastest and who's going to get the toe once qualifying resumes. But I think it should be fairly standard stuff once again. We're not going to have anything all that surprising. And one of the drivers will just make a compromise and sit themselves out, and everyone else will be still, everyone else is going to make their way out and get a toe. Yeah, one driver will have to make the compromise, not get a toe, but at least they'll get qualifying begun. What do you mean by ST speed? ST speed means speed trap speed. I'd appreciate it if you don't spam. What is your favourite football team? I don't particularly watch football. Yeah. Please next year too. Indeed, I will. What does it mean by getting a toe? A toe is a slipstream or a draft if you come from different motorsports. But essentially, if you're going down the straight and you're behind another driver, they push all of the air out, beside you, and you kind of get this like pocket of air that's got a lot less air resistance, and you get an extra top speed, a top speed boost to say, and that's why a toe is very, very important. Subbed and liked. Keep up the good work. Very much is appreciated, Xavier. Q2 surprise prediction. Maybe Sergio Perez getting knocked out in Q2. Who knows? But the Ferrari's the first to go at the start of the Q2 session, and then the Alpines following them out. And here we go then. Okie dokes, 14 minutes and 30 seconds of this qualifying session left. We've only had 30 seconds, in fact. All right, I'm going to have a quick sip of water, and not long now till we have some more qualifying on our hands. Do you know anything about a potential penalty for Lewis? Yeah, it says Q1 incident noted involving car 44, Lewis Hamilton, of course, failing to follow race director's instructions, maximum delta time. Yeah, Hamilton didn't follow that, but the thing is, they never give a penalty out for that, so Hamilton's not going to get a penalty. They've never really enforced it. It's just a rule, and if you break it, then you get a slap on the wrist and nothing else happens, so it's fine. And I'm sure Hamilton only broke it by a second or two. It's nothing major. All right, Carlos Sainz leading the way. He's not going to have a toe once again. Leclerc will be getting the toe from his teammate. And yeah. Okie dokes. Both Red Bulls are out, both McLarens are out. The only drivers we are waiting on now, the two Mercedes drivers, Fernando Alonso and Alexander Albon. I'm a new subscriber. How do you access to the team chats? Well, you have to have F1 TV Pro, which is in the... Or actually, you could have F1 TV, just the normal one. The link for that is in the description. And then, of course, you have to get multi-viewer, which is this other thing. If we look at the speed trap speeds, the Ferraris are right in the middle of the speed trap speeds. 8th and 9th place, Sainz and Leclerc. They're not the quickest, they're not the slowest, but they are awfully quick overall at this Monza Grand Prix circuit. Yeah, all right then. So here we go. Carlos Sainz leads the first sector. Purple first sector from him, of course, but he's the first driver to set that first sector. We have got 26.4 from him. Charles Leclerc, 26.6, slightly slower than his teammate. Sainz exits Lesmo 2. Lando Norris will be ahead of him. He's going to get a nice toe from him there. And here they go then. Towards Ascari. What's the middle sector going to be for Carlos Sainz? He, of course, made a mistake on his first lap. And look at that. They're out on used tyres here. This is interesting. Lando Norris and Piastri, they're out on a fresh set, but Leclerc and Sainz, they're out on 7-lap old tyres. So let's not read into this too much here. The drivers are out on used tyres, and that kind of explains the loss in pace, especially when track temperatures are up at 49 degrees. The tyres wear out super quick. And Carlos Sainz, this lap time is not going to be totally representative, but nonetheless, a 120.3, very, very quick for Carlos Sainz. Charles Leclerc, a 120.2, and he goes 32 milliseconds ahead of his teammate. It is so close between the Ferrari duo. They are such a good driver pairing. We'll wait and see what Lewis Hamilton can bring to the Ferrari team next year round. We have got Alexander Albon. He is giving Gasly a little toe, is it? Or... Oh, no. apologies, that's a bit of a mistake there. Daniel Ricciardo was giving Gasly a little bit of a tow. Gasly comes across the line Ricciardo across the line 121.2. K-Mag only 0.4 back from Charles Leclerc. Hulkenberg only a tenth back from Charles Leclerc, but you do have to take into account the Ferrari did one extra run on those tyres. The Hasses didn't do that one extra run. Sergio Perez, that's third place for him. He's 1/10 behind the Ferraris, but once again, Sergio Perez did one less run on those soft tyres, and yeah, Verstappen top of the timings though. That's a fresh set for Max Verstappen. I'd like to keep pointing that out. He is 0.4 ahead of Charles Leclerc, but he's only done that because he's on a fresh set. Oscar Piastri goes 66 milliseconds ahead of Verstappen. Half a tenth is the gap. It is so tight up at the front. It's purple in the second and third sector for Piastri. Purple third sector gets taken away by Norris, and Norris goes a tenth ahead of Piastri. And 81 milliseconds, in fact, look at that. Oscar Piastri, his number is 81. Lando Norris is 81 milliseconds ahead of him. What a coincidence. But the gap between Norris and Verstappen is only a tenth and a half. It is not that big. The Ferraris on their next runs should be right with the McLarens because they're going to be using a fresh set of soft tyres. And well, we'll wait and see what they can do with those. McLarens are looking very, very quick though. Sergio Perez still lacking in the pace. He's slower than Sainz, and we'll wait and see what Hamilton and Russell can do when they start their flying laps. They are just making their way down the back straight as of now. In fact, yeah, Russell starting his flying lap now, and Hamilton just coming through Parabolica. Your commentary is exemplary. Hope to see you on F1 TV soon. Well, folks, there's 12,000 of you. If any one of you work in the broadcasting industry, or know anyone that works in the broadcasting industry and could get me into Formula 1 TV, probably not Formula 1 TV right away, but into some sort of broadcasting, then feel free to reach out to me on F1_gamer_5 on Instagram. Yeah, it'd be pretty cool. I don't think I'd be all that good at professional commentary, like going to a circuit and doing it, but I don't know. I guess I've got a fair amount of experience doing it on YouTube here. All right, we're 6 likes away from 2,000 likes, so if you guys could hit the like button, there we go. We've done that. Hello there, and we have now got the Mercedes on their flying lap. Look at that. Hamilton, look at that middle sector. Quite a few mini purple sectors that he's getting there in the middle of your screen right now, and he's going to get a tow off Carlos Sainz going through the exit of Ascari, which is going to help him out as well. So yeah, let's wait and see how that works out for Lewis Hamilton. George Russell, though, now comes across the line out of Parabolica, and where's he going to be? He comes across the line. He's on a fresh set of tyres, and it's 4th position for George Russell, and once again, he's a tenth and a half behind Lando Norris, but on a fresh set of tyres. And Hamilton, he makes a mistake in Parabolica and still goes top of the timings. He goes a tenth ahead of Lando Norris, but he makes a mistake in Parabolica, still sets a purple final sector. Wow. Oh, he didn't make a mistake in Parabolica. On the previous lap, he had a tow. On this lap, he didn't have a tow, so that's why it was yellow. But 119.6 for Lewis Hamilton. We're getting towards the low 119s once again. I'd like to point out Hamilton is on a fresh set of tyres. The Ferraris, we don't know what they're going to do. In fact, Carlos Sainz purple in the first sector. He's on a fresh set. Let's see what Charles Leclerc can do as well. Charles Leclerc is no slouch either. He's a tenth behind him in the first sector. All right, let's wait and see what's going to happen here. Carlos Sainz exits Lesmo 2, does not make any sort of mistake like Franco Colapinto. DRS flap wide open, gaining 10 kilometers per hour of extra speed going down the straights, slams onto the brakes at Ascari, and he is 28 milliseconds down on Hamilton in the first 2 sectors. He's got the final sector to make that up, and Ascari was brilliant. He weaves his way through there, and now he's got the final Parabolica corner left. He goes all the way to the left hand side on the white line, flicks the car in straight onto the power. The car looks as stable as ever. He minimizes the distance to the line, and across the line goes Carlos Sainz, only 3rd place, and the gap is 1.5 tenths. And it seems like Carlos Sainz just missed out there because he did not have a tow coming through Parabolica. Lewis Hamilton did, Carlos Sainz didn't, and the gap will And yeah, and those are the things at Monza. Those tiny little gaps, the little bit of toe that you can get off someone else is going to play a huge, it's going to have a huge effect on your overall lap time and overall position. Look at that. Charles Leclerc, one bad lap from him, and it's 7th position only. He's 3/10 behind Hamilton, but look at that. The top 7 split by 3/10 of a second. The top 6 split by a quarter of a second. The top of the pack is very close together, and look at that, it's totally multicolored. There's no single Mercedes 1 2 or Mercedes 2 3. Everything's jumbled up, and we've got a radio from Charles Leclerc saying the car is not turning at all again. Not ideal there for Charles Leclerc. He says the car is not turning all. Hamilton also says, I've understeer at turn number 11. The drivers, at Monza, you do minimize as much downforce as possible. And in that minimizing process, you end up losing quite a bit of grip and quite a bit of pointiness in the car. So yeah, KO means knocked out, folks. So the drivers have been knocked out in Q1. We have 5 minutes left of this quali session. I don't think Carlos Sainz will go out again. I think maybe Charles Leclerc, just in case, is gonna make sure it's going to go out. But look at that gap between Charles Leclerc and Sergio Perez. Top 7 very close together, and then Sergio Perez, he is nearly half a second, 0.4 of a second back. But the gap between 7th and 8th is enormous. So maybe Leclerc can just, take a little bit of a risk, save a set of tyres and sit in the pit lane. But I'm not sure, really. That gap is enormous, actually. I wouldn't have expected it to be that big. Perez and his teammate, the gap is half a second. Perez and Leclerc, the gap is 0.4 of a second. The projected knockout time is around about a 1:20.2. So Leclerc's safe from that. Sergio Perez probably not safe. That was my surprise prediction. Sergio Perez is going to get knocked out in Q2. Now let's wait and see what that happens. Also, we're 3 subscribers away from 93,000. So, folks, if you haven't subscribed, be sure to do so. All right, 2 subscribers, brilliant. So we've got the Alpines leading the way, and then we have got the Haas. Piastri's going out for another lap. I don't know why. It also says question mark on which tyres he's got. I think that'll just be a set of softs. Yeah, use set softs for Piastri. Then we have got Perez and Verstappen both coming out, and we have got Daniel Ricciardo out as well. All right, 93k, fantastic. One step closer to 100k. 93k is still ridiculous in of itself. Oh, look at how has it just gone up 100 in the span of 10 seconds? That is crazy. I think everyone was trying to be that one last subscriber, and then we've just gone up 100 subscribers, which is interesting. I think there's going to be loads of people trying to be the 100,000th subscriber if it's just happened for 93,000. But oh well, we'll see what happens. All right, I'm going to have a quick sip of water. And let's see what these quali times are going to be. What does downforce mean? Downforce means downforce is essentially the front wing and the rear wing pressing down on the car. Oh my god, Nico Hulkenberg, purple in the first sector on a fresh set of softs. Wow. Okay, downforce, essentially, it's just pushing the car down, so you can go around corners quicker. Essentially, that's what it is. The more of it you have, the quicker you go around the corners, but the slower you go down the straights. And Monza is one of the circuits where you want to go quick through the straights and you can compromise on the corners a little bit. All right, Daniel Ricciardo, quickest in a straight line out of everyone, 353 kilometers per hour through the speed trap for Daniel Ricciardo. He definitely got a toe on that one. All right, here comes Nico. Here comes K-Mag. Across the line he goes. He does not improve for K-Mag. Albon across the line. He's starting a flying lap. Hulkenberg, he improves. but not enough to gain any positions. Piastri, he starts... oh no, Piastri doesn't improve either, in fact. Goes ever so slightly slower than his previous best. Alonso's getting a mega toe off Oscar Piastri here, and 353 down the speed trap, and Alonso's quicker than Ricciardo, so... Yeah, if Alonso makes it through into Q3, it's Piastri's, Piastri's done that for him. Verstappen across the line, second place for him. Oh my God, what a lap from Verstappen on a used set of soft tyres up to second place. Ricciardo improves, but it's only 11th position for him, unfortunately. Ricciardo is out of this qualifying session, but Max Verstappen on a used set of tyres is in second position, only 21 milliseconds behind Hamilton. Wow. All right, we got Russell and Hamilton. They're both out on a used set as well. We'll wait and see what happens there. I don't think they need to push all that hard, to be honest. But, they might as well go out, get a bit of practice in before the start of Q3. And... all right, Alex Albon's on a fly. He's currently in 10th position, looking to get ahead of Hülkenberg and potentially Perez so he can get through into Q3. Albon improves, gets ahead of Hülkenberg, pushes Hülkenberg down to 10th, Albon up to 9th. Fernando Alonso currently in 12th position, got a mega toe at the start of the lap. What can he do? And Alonso only 11th position for Fernando Alonso. It was so close. The gap was 10 milliseconds to Nico Hülkenberg. 10 milliseconds. The finest of margins here. But Fernando Alonso gets knocked out of Q2. And that is the end of qualifying today, folks. Not qualifying. That's the end of Q2 today, folks. And we have got Alonso, Ricciardo, K-Mag, Gasly and Ocon eliminated from the session. We've got 15,000 people tuned into the live stream. That is ridiculous considering it's qualifying and not even the race. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the live stream. If you aren't subscribed or you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do that. And... yeah, fantastic job there. George Russell and Lewis Hamilton, they are on slow laps by the looks of it. They're not pushing all that hard. Seems like they're just going to come back into the pits. And yeah, why not? Oh no, they're going to complete the lap. I don't know why they completed the lap, but yeah, Russell was 3/10 slower and Hamilton was 3/10 slower as well. Both drivers 3/10 slower than their previous best. Sergio Perez is safe. He makes it through into Q3. So we've got the top 4 teams, and then Albon and Hülkenberg managed to sneak through. Alonso, by the finest of margins, couldn't make it into 10th place, but nonetheless, a fantastic job from him. The Aston isn't all that quick at Monza. They were very quick at Spa in terms of top speed, but yeah, this weekend at Monza, top speed isn't king. Well, it is king, but not for Aston Martin. They haven't been that quick in a straight line. Okay. Let's wait and see then. Q3, we're going to have everyone coming out on a fresh set of soft tyres. We're going to have 2 runs on fresh sets of soft. We're going to have games being played on who's going to give who a toe. So many different things are going to happen, and honestly, I cannot wait. One thing I do have to mention, folks, if you are interested in watching F1 TV Pro, their little adverts playing at the top right, I'm sponsored by them, so if you want to check it out, then the link's in the description. You get all of the footage, all of the onboards, all of the commentary, everything live, and you get access to this data as well. So if you folks are interested, then go ahead, check out the link in the description. If not, then no worries. Liking a subscription helps out the channel regardless. But yeah, that is that's I've got to say that because yeah, I'm sponsored by them. Oh, Giuseppe, F1 Gamer is on commentator pole position. Well, thank you very much. That is very nice of you. Yeah, I'm just gonna heart that. Can I heart that? Yeah, very nice. Thank you. All right, and actually, I should probably give a shout out to my Patreons. We've got the Code Monster, Tomaha46, AJ, and oh, I'm forgetting someone. Stephen Levesque, I think. Yeah, all of these guys are supporting the channel from the Patreon or the Buy Me a Coffee link. So if you guys want to check that out, then the link is in the description. But anyway, let's, all of the promotional stuff and all of that, that's all out of the way. Here we are for Q3. We are going to have a sensational qualifying session. Lewis Hamilton versus Max Verstappen versus Lando Norris versus Carlos Sainz versus Piastri versus Russell versus Leclerc. Wow, what a competition this is going to be. Everyone has a shot at pole. If everyone can get a potential toe, if everyone can nail Ascari, if everyone can get an amazing exit out of Parabolica corner, then every one of those 7 drivers has a chance to get pole position, and it is well within their reach. It is so difficult to predict. Who is your money on? Do let me know in the chat. Is the Monza special upgrades for Ferrari really worth it? Well, I don't know, but I think Ferrari, they love to win at their home Grand Prix. And, you know, it would be fantastic. The Tifosi would go absolutely wild if they could win at Monza. And, I don't know. I think Ferrari have a real shot here. Carlos Sainz, Charles Leclerc, they have been fantastic all weekend round. They've still yet to set a super quick lap on a set of soft tyres that have put them on, you know, in first and second. We saw them in second and third and the earlier parts of Q1. Verstappen has, you know, finally revealed his cards and shown that he is quick in Monza. The Red Bull has sorted out their issues, at least temporarily, and he can deliver some really good pace in Monza. He's done that on a used set of tyres, matched Lewis Hamilton's lap time, on which Hamilton did on a fresh set. So it's up to anyone now. Is it going to be Norris? Is Piastri going to pull one out of the bag and out-qualify his teammate? Will George Russell come and ruin the day for everyone else? And, ruin the day for the Ferrari fans. Who knows what will happen now? All right, the Q3 data will be coming through in a couple of, in 1 or 2 minutes now, folks, 1 or 2 minutes, and we'll get the Q3 data coming through. It's a little bit delayed, of course, because the delay in FP for Q2 because of all of the gravel on the circuit. But let's see. Can we see the speed traps? Indeed, you can. Let's just have a look. Let me put that to there. If you have a look, the quickest driver through the speed traps was Nico Hülkenberg, and everyone else was... Oh, well, this is the Sector 1 speed, not the speed trap, but nonetheless, Nico Hülkenberg quickest through that part of the circuit, and that explains why he got... that explains why he was purple in the first sector. So, yeah... All right, that has been, there we go, the data is reset and we should be ready to go to Q3 in any minute now. It's probably going to be in 2 or 3 minutes time. It's I think we've had 2 minutes already of a normal delay and then another 2 minutes that we had from earlier on. All right. F1 Gamer, can you stream the F1 and pretend it's a video game? They won't know. I think they will know, and I will get copyrighted. And we're getting pretty close to 100,000 subscribers, so I'd rather not get my channel deleted. ST speed means speed trap speed. They have a speed trap just before the braking zone of turn number 1, and it records the speeds of the drivers. It's just a speed camera, except that this one doesn't give you a fine if you're going too quickly, which you know, I think that's great. What's the forecast for race day? It is sunny and very hot, exactly like today. Track temperatures have dipped a little bit. They're down to 46 degrees. It was 48, 49 earlier. So let's wait and see. 12,000 people, though, tuned into the live stream. This is fantastic. We're getting very close to the drivers now finally coming out. I don't know why race control is still delaying the start of Q3. We should have got a message earlier saying green light for Q3, but here we are. A lot of people saying Piastri for pole, a lot of people saying Hamilton, a lot of people saying Russell. I mean, this is the beauty of this Formula One season. You cannot predict what is going to happen. And, well, it makes it so much better. Looking forward to Hulk in the new car. Yeah, Hulkenberg will be driving that Audi, of course, maybe alongside Bottas, maybe alongside Mick Schumacher. Still yet to be confirmed, but, yeah. All right, green light at the end of the pit lane, folks, and they are getting ready to send out Oscar Piastri, and there we go, the first Red Bull is out, and we'll have everyone else making their way out as well. Hamilton's out, McLaren's out, there we go, everyone making their way to the end of the pit lane now, and Q3 is underway. Let's get going. All right, Hulkenberg and Albon out first drivers, and then we've got the Sergio Perez, and then Piastri All right, I'm going to have a quick sip of water because I feel like I'm talking very, very loudly for the next 12 minutes. Okie dokes. All right, here we go then. Piastri, Norris, Verstappen, all of them crawling out the pit lane nice and slowly. Everyone now cooling down their tyres, cooling down their brakes in preparation to go for a hot lap around Monza. Everything, all the temperatures need to be at an absolute minimum. When track temperature's up at 46 degrees, your tyre temperature needs to be very, very cold before you start your quali lap. And here we go then. Why is Kimi Antonelli going straight to Mercedes as a rookie driver? They're going straight to Mercedes as a rookie driver because Toto Wolff believes in him. They think that Toto Wolff thinks that Kimi Antonelli is the future of Formula One. He thinks that he's going to be really good, and because of that, they're taking a bit of a gamble, and they're saying, "Oh, we'll just give you a seat." Okay, 10 minutes remain of this session. All 10 drivers are out onto the circuit now. Albon will be leading the way. Then there's Hülkenberg. Then there's Perez. And then we'll have Piastri, Norris, Sainz and Leclerc. Everyone else will be making their way around the Monza circuit very, very shortly. Okie dokes. Here we go then. What is Albon's top speed? 344 kilometers an hour through the speed traps for Alex Albon. Nico Hülkenberg, 346 for him. And then we've got Sergio Perez. He comes through the speed trap, 346 for him as well. All right, Piastri starting his lap. So's Norris. And look at that. They're messing around for a toe a little bit. Verstappen's trying to get a toe off Sainz. Sainz trying to get a toe off Norris. And Leclerc trying to get a toe off Verstappen. They're all playing around. Alex Albon, he's going to get a toe off Hamilton as they go towards Ascari. Yeah, nicely timed there from the Williams crew. I don't think that was intentional, but it's worked out nicely for them. And then they go through Ascari, and Albon's going to get another toe from George Russell. So Albon should have a pretty nice lap. He's purple in the middle sector, but that's, of course, he's the only driver yet to do the middle sector. Piastri goes purple in the first sector. Very nice. Let's see what Lando Norris can do. He takes that away. 7 milliseconds between the two drivers. They are so close together. Here comes Carlos Sainz. What can he do? And he goes through Curva Grande, slams on the brakes, and he's quicker than both McLarens by 0.2 of a second. Albon across the line, a 1:20.8 for him. Hamilton starts his lap. Hülkenberg across the line. What is it going to be for him? It's a 1:20.4. 4/10 ahead of Alex Albon. A great lap there from Nico Hülkenberg. Sergio Perez goes across the line 4/10 quicker than Hülkenberg, 1:20.0. And now we've got Oscar Piastri. What is he going to do? The first of the top runners. What can he do? Purple in the middle sector and across the line a 1:19.4. That is the benchmark. What can Lando Norris do? He was quicker than Piastri in the first sector, slower than in the second sector, but he's quicker in the final sector, and he gets ahead of Piastri by 35 milliseconds. So close. Oh my god, Piastri must be getting quite annoyed here. Every single time he sets a quick lap, Norris goes ahead of him by a fraction of a tenth of a second. Carlos Sainz across the line, he's 0.3 behind the McLarens. Leclerc across the line, he is also 0.3 behind the McLarens, and the Ferrari drivers split by 3 milliseconds. The competition is so tough here. Now here comes George Russell and Lewis Hamilton. Verstappen sets a slow lap. He's slower than Sergio Perez. How has that happened? He's a 10 milliseconds slower. We've got George Russell across the line. 3rd place for George Russell. What a lap. And Hamilton goes 4th place. I mean, just look at this, folks. We've got McLaren, Mercedes, Ferrari, and then Red Bull. How the tables have turned, and how has it just turned into this perfect? Turned into this perfect? Two teams, two drivers right next to each other. A McLaren 1-2, a Mercedes 3-4, a Ferrari 5-6, and a Red Bull 7-8. Crazy. Okay. All right, and look at that. Look at those gaps. Norris and Piastri, 3 to less than a tenth of a second. Russell is a 1/10 away from the McLarens. Ferrari's 0.3 back. I don't know what's happened there. Perez was on a used set of tyres. What? Perez did his lap on a used set of tyres and still set the same lap time as Max Verstappen. There's got to be something wrong here. How has that happened? Verstappen, oh no. Verstappen over the radio, I had no effing grip at all on this set. Shocking. Well, that explains the lack of pace. All right. He said they just don't grip. All right, Verstappen is not pleased whatsoever. Maybe it's something in the warm-up procedure. They've got to, warm up the tyres, maybe heat up the brakes so the core of the tyres is warmed up. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not the tyre warming up expert, but Verstappen, as he went into Parabolica, he turned into the car and the rear of the car just slid around. And then he had to put a whole lot of steering lock in, scrubbing off a load of speed going through Parabolica. And it is just not great for Max Verstappen. I don't know what's happened there. Perez was on a used set, Verstappen on a fresh set, but still, somehow Verstappen was slower. And apparently his car just wasn't gripping up. Yeah, some people are saying Verstappen washed. He's been out-qualified by Sergio Perez. What do you think of Colapinto's performance so far? Honestly, fantastic job from him. Of course, he didn't make it through into Q2, but what can you expect? It is his first race in Formula 1, in fact. And he was only, I think, 3/10 behind Alex Albon in the start of the Q1 session. So, good job from Colapinto. We'll see what progress he can make in tomorrow's race, what his racecraft is like. But from what I've heard from you guys, he's quite a good endurance driver, and in Formula 2 he was quite good as well. So it should be good for Williams tomorrow. We have 4 minutes left of this qualifying session, and here we go then. We are going to have the final top 10 shootout for pole position. We've got the McLarens that seem to be, it's confirmed, at the Temple of Speed, at this very specific circuit where you'd have low downforce characteristics. Aerodynamic efficiency is the name of the game. We've got the McLarens at the top, Mercedes in second place, the Ferraris in third, even after their massive Monza special upgrade package. Still fifth and sixth, third fastest team for Ferrari, and then the Red Bulls in seventh and eighth. It looks very satisfying indeed, but I have a feeling in these next runs of Q2, we're going to have a little bit of a mix-up. Sergio Perez, the first driver out, and now we're going to have everyone else making their way out very, very shortly behind him. There are 3 minutes and 40 seconds left of this quali session. The two Red Bulls are making their way out in formation, and everyone else is following them out. Here we go. All right, folks, let me know what your predictions are. Who do you think is going to get pole position in this qualifying session? It's been, very close between Norris and Piastri, and honestly, I hope Piastri can get a pole. It would be fantastic. I don't think he's got a pole, actually. He has got a race win, but I don't think he's got a pole. So if he could get a pole, that would be brilliant. I think it would be his first pole this year and first pole in his career, to be honest. Maybe Lando Norris, maybe Leclerc, maybe Max Verstappen. If this set of tyres grips up like the other tyres didn't, maybe he could pull out another lap from the bag. Okie dokes. The engine modes have been turned up to 11. We've got the drivers crawling out of the pit lane, trying to minimise the tyre temperature and try to make sure they have as much grip as they are going through Parabolica. Okay, folks, if you aren't subscribed, if you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. It definitely does help out the channel. Hopefully we can hit 3,000 likes, and hopefully we can go to 93,500 subscribers, maybe even 94 if all of you haven't subscribed yet. We've got 15,000 people watching. Thank you everyone for tuning in. The Mercedes are on used rubber. Yeah, what are the Mercedes doing? Oh no, the Mercedes are still in the pits, and there they are. They're coming out on a fresh set. Yeah, the Mercedes are still in the pits and they're coming out on a fresh set. Why would you not? Every single one of these drivers are out on a fresh set now. They're all nice and spread out. The only driver that isn't spread out is Sainz. He's on the tail of Piastri looking to get a tow. Everyone else has left a nice margin, a nice comfortable margin for them to get going and to do some racing. All right. Here they go then. We follow Max Verstappen. He comes across the start-finish line, barreling down the straight. DRS flap is wide open, approaching speeds 340, 345 kilometers an hour through the speed traps, slams onto the brakes, goes through the first corner, hits those apexes perfectly, and gets a brilliant exit of the car. No sort of twitching there whatsoever. Now through Curva Grande, takes the inside line, minimizes the amount of speed that he scrubs off, and now towards the chicane number 2, he slams on the brakes just underneath the bridge, and then he's slightly up on Norris's time. Verstappen is up on Norris's time for pole position in the first sector. This is looking good. All right, Norris starts his flying lap, so does Piastri, so does Sainz and Leclerc. Verstappen, there's a massive, Perez went wide at Lesmo too, but Verstappen, he's going to get a toe off Hamilton. He should be getting a toe off Russell as well. Very nice from Max Verstappen. Great timing. Perez is going to have a bit of a slow lap there. He's made a mistake at Lesmo too, but can Max Verstappen get pole? He gets a toe off Hamilton. He gets a toe off his teammate as well. They go through Parabolica, and what can Max Verstappen do? Here he goes. It's the car looks stable. It looks fine, but he's slower in the first sector. He's slower in the second sector. He comes across the line. What's it going to be for Max Verstappen? Only 7th position. Oh, no. Things have gone horribly wrong. Perez into the pits, and we've got Sainz purple in the first sector. Norris is purple in the second sector. Norris looking to extend his lead. He's currently on provisional pole, but Carlos Sainz is having absolutely none of it. 350 kilometers per hour down the main straight. He got that toe off Piastri, and this could be critical for the Ferrari fans. Checkered flag is out. Lando Norris is the first one to see it. He comes out of Parabolica. He's got a purple middle sector. Across the line he goes. Can he improve? Yes, he does. He improves by 1/10 of a second. Oscar Piastri, he's slower in the first sector, slower in the second sector. Does he improve? No, he does not. Now it's all down to Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc. What can they do? Carlos Sainz 3rd place, but it's not close enough. A 10th and a half of Lando Norris. Charles Leclerc, he goes up into 3rd place, and he's also a 10th and a half of Lando Norris. The Ferraris have displaced the Mercedes drivers, but they've still yet to complete their laps. But it looks all too sealed that Lando Norris has got his pole position. We're still waiting on the Mercs though. Let's wait and see. It could be a McLaren front row lockout. This would be sensational. Here they go. George Russell, a fantastic exit out of Parabolica. He goes up into 3rd place. Lewis Hamilton, what can he do? And it is 4th place for Lewis Hamilton, 3rd place for George Russell, and a McLaren 1-2 after 2021 where they got a 1-2 in the race. They're on 1-2 once again. In qualifying, a fantastic job. The McLaren crew are so pleased. Ferrari in 4th and 5th position after so much effort in this Monza upgrade package. Lando Norris on another pole position. He pips his teammate by 1/10 of a second, but the race down into turn number 1 is going to be so exciting tomorrow. McLaren have had issues on their race starts, not only Lando Norris, but both Norris and Piastri. So maybe going into turn number 1 tomorrow, we're going to have a 3-wide, 4-wide moment. It's going to be super duper exciting. Thank you everyone for tuning in. We've got 17,000 people tuned into live stream, folks. If you could hit the like button and subscribe, that'd be fantastic. Yeah, we could even have Lando Norris be a title contender. You know, if Verstappen gets 1 DNF, 2 DNFs, then Norris could be right in that title fight. But what I'm going to say, folks, is I'm going to end the live stream today. It'll take you over to tomorrow's live stream for the start for the race tomorrow. And if you could hit the like button on tomorrow's live stream, that would massively help out the channel. Basically, it just tells YouTube, oh, this is an amazing live stream because people have hit the like button before the start of the live stream. So I'm going to end the live stream now. It'll take you over to tomorrow's. And if you could just hit the like button, very much would be appreciated. Thank you everyone for tuning in. I hope you have a wonderful morning, day, afternoon, evening or night, depending on where you are in the world. And once again, just the like button on tomorrow's stream would be fantastic. And yeah, we're going to have a great race tomorrow. The McLarens probably will get a bad start and we're going to have so much fighting. It's going to be brilliant. All right, see you tomorrow. Cheers, fellas.